What I love doing is I want to teach myself, I want to inoculate myself against judgment. I want to teach myself that if my heart's beating, boom, 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 it's a sign that I need to go do the thing. Most of the things that we're afraid of doing are because of other people's opinions, right?
Yeah,
you're playing small because you're worried how somebody's going to judge you. You'll sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. You'll record a video, but you won't post it on YouTube, right? You want to do great things, but you're afraid of the reaction that's going to happen. So that if you can feel that, then it's, man, I don't want to live my whole life playing small because of somebody else's opinion of me. Now, we got entrepreneurs who are watching. Entrepreneurs, we want to do different things. We want to change the status quo. There's a lot of people who want to protect the status quo. All those people who want to protect the status quo, they won't like you by default just because of what you represent. Without knowing you, they just don't like what you represent, so they're going to hate on you.
Yeah, you represent the idea of what they could be doing possibly if they were willing to put themselves out there.
Sure, you're taking stuff away from them. You know, they don't like that, so they hate you just by definition.
Right.
So if you want to go off and have a huge impact, you're going to get the bigger impact you want, the more people are going to line up against you who want to protect what currently is.
Yeah.
And so if you can't do something as simple as ask a girl out or sing on the street or something simple, then you're never going to do the big thing.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos probably because you're the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of more, and you need the push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and our take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy! Rule number 2, love what you do.
I feel like what I do matters. And I think that's really, really important. I think people who are starting a business only trying to make money often burn out and don't make money. I've been doing YouTube for 12 years now. We've done over 10,000 videos. Not all of them are public. And people ask me, well, how do you keep going? Like, how do you not burn out? How do you stay consistent? We haven't missed a day of uploading a video in maybe 70 years, something like that. Something crazy. Well, how? Because I love what I'm doing. Because I feel like it matters. Because this isn't it. Look at this interview here with Michael. Is this work? This doesn't feel like work for me. This is fun. This is a holiday in Canada for me right now. This is our Independence Day right now. We're filming this on Canada Independence Day right now. And I'm here talking with Michael because it's fun, right? And so when you're doing work that you love and you feel is having an impact, it's a lot easier to stay positive and excited and have momentum. Where if you're forcing yourself to do something that you hate because you think it's going to make you money, that's when you start diving on the path of boredom and maybe ultimately depression.
Rule number 3, do scary things.
The number one thing you can do for your confidence is to do scary things. When you come up against something that's scary, that's difficult, that's hard, and you don't do them, you're telling yourself that you can't and that you suck. You're teaching yourself with every inaction that you're the kind of person who plays small. You need to flip that thinking. It's scary, you do it. It's scary, you're jumping. Because you do scary things. You want to be scared. If you have things that make you scared, it means you're growing, you're learning, you're getting better. If there's nothing in your calendar that makes you scared in the next month, you hate your life. That's actually most people. Most people don't have anything in their calendar that is scary, and they look at their calendar ahead and they hate their life. They're bored. They're photocopying the same day over and over again. You don't want that. So the goal isn't to not be scared, because that means you're playing small. The goal is to find things that are scary and then to teach yourself that you do them.
Rule number 4, find a way to serve people.
I think 99.999% of people are built to serve. I think we get happiness by helping other people with what we can help them with. I think there's a tiny percentage of people who enjoy killing people. They got brain chemicals kind of messed up, but most people aren't like that. Right. You know? Thankfully, we wouldn't be here.
In general,
we want to, like, think of your greatest moments. They involve somebody else. Think of your happiest, most proud moments of all time. They involve somebody else. You've helped. The winning for you, the great moments won't just be receiving some check or making a lot of money. It's like, how are you going to use that to help somebody else? So we're wired to serve. Just not everybody's wired to serve the world. So you have to understand your style. for people watching this show, they're probably wired to serve the world. Entrepreneurs, we want to make a big impact, a big change, a big difference.
Yeah.
But not everybody is built that way. Some people they want to serve the closest people, friends, family.
Yeah.
You know, my wife is still in touch with people from her grade 1 in China. You know, like she keeps in touch with people. I go, well, she's a master networker, I guess, too. But I don't care that much about people like that. I want to help the world. There was a really interesting question that somebody asked me, like, would you rather? Would I rather have 100,000 people really understand my message and get it, or my son? And I picked 100,000 people.
Wow.
And my wife picked this up.
Wasn't happy.
Right? Now, I don't know what, no, she wasn't not happy. She gets it, but it's just a different approach. Yeah, right. Now, where does it, I don't know, what's the number? Is it 1,000? Is it 5,000?
Right, yeah.
I don't want to go down that slippery slope. but that idea of, you know, ultimately, if my wife really needed something from me, I would be there for her. But at the end of the day, I need to be free to be doing the work that I love doing.
Yeah.
And so you have to find a way to serve.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, build a great team.
I did everything myself at the beginning. I was doing 1 video per week on YouTube, and then the first hire I had was an editor, and that let me go to 1 video a day instead of just 1 video a week. And so the sooner you can start to incorporate people in your life who can support you, either emotional support, you know, Nina, my wife, now is involved in my business, is my chief heart officer, and does a lot of work inside the company. But at the beginning, she didn't know anything about YouTube besides watching. She didn't give me any advice or really know what to do, but just supporting me, just encouraging me, just understanding me. It makes a big difference when you have somebody in your life who's just there for you and understands you, even if they can't give you practical knowledge. Just that support is helpful. But then also the people who can actually do the thing that you need help with. Even if it's for 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day. Like that, the first person I hired was 1 hour a day. And that saved 1.5 to 2 hours a day of my time because he was better at the thing than I was. So you don't need to have a big budget to go hire somebody. But if you have a big mission, then you have to realize that ultimately you can't do this alone, and make a commitment that by the end of next month, you're going to have somebody else on your team helping you. We often get inspired, whether it's watching a video like this, hearing an interview from Michael or somebody else, reading a book. How many times you've read a book and been inspired, but then you don't do anything. And we say, okay, tomorrow we're going to do it, and the next week we're going to do it, and then nothing ends up happening. So if you got inspired by this, you took any idea from this, the best thing you can do is today take 1 small piece of action towards it. If your goal is, I want to be a YouTuber as well, great. The best thing you can do is make a video. If your goal is to write your own book, great. The best thing you can do right now is write the first page of content and expect it to suck. Just expect it to suck. Your first page is going to suck. Your first video is definitely going to suck. It doesn't mean you suck as a human. It just means you don't have the skill set yet. Why would you have the skill set if it's your first time doing it? So just expect to suck, but get started, because that's the thing that most people miss. There's a lot of smart people who consume a lot of content, who can say what I'm going to say before I say it because they've seen so much of it, and have read so many books, thousands of books, and have them memorized, but then they're still stuck in life because you're not taking the action. So the most important thing you can do when you're reading a book, at least I think, when you're reading a book or when you're watching a video, go pause it. Put the book down for a second, pause the video, and then go take some immediate action from it. If you look at all those books on Michael's shelf behind you, if you all have that collection, and in each one of those books, you actually took just 1 idea away from it and did something about it, your life will be dramatically different. So the message is, do something today. Do something today to get some momentum on your big goal.
Rule number 7, start getting paid.
You can see the end picture and the goal and the vision that you've got for yourself and what you want to make, but from where you are now to where you're going to be, it just feels too too big, too slow, too impossible, needing venture capital funding, needing a whole ton of support. Like, no, you just need to figure out what's the next step that will start to pay you for what you're doing. This is where people often don't want to have the conversation because they just want to do everything for free. Like, but that's great, but you have to make money doing this so that you can make this your full-time thing, so you can hire a team, so you can expand, so you can have a bigger reach, so you can have a much bigger impact, so you can actually create the world that you want to create. Again, money's not number one, but you have to figure out a way to make money. So inside of your big dream, what is the next step that you have to take that's going to start to get you paid? And often it's coaching. Often it's selling your time, right? Often it's taking the expertise that you have inside you. You solved the problem for yourself. Now you're going to help other people do it, and you're going to get paid to do it.
Rule number 8, embrace fear.
I'm very much kind of the same way that you are in terms of that's the biggest fear for me is knowing, like thinking about myself getting to the end of my life and then just wishing that I had done this or done that or taken that chance that one time.
It's because it's a slow bleed.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, because that regret is something that's going to happen every day for the next X number of years of your life. Like from now, from 39 to 99, that's 60 years of my life.
Right.
But it's going to be a little bit of pain every day versus doing it and failing is massive pain.
Yeah.
And so on a daily, that massive pain of failure is bigger than the little bit of pain of regret. But if you accumulate all those days of regret and then bring it back to today, it actually ends up being way bigger. But people don't feel it because you just see this massive pain and you'll pick the one, you don't want to do that massive pain.
Right.
People won't do that. And so I try to imagine myself at 99 in my rocking chair. Now it's over, like I can't do it.
Right.
I don't have the energy, I can't chase that down. My mind is going. And now that's decades of regret. And I try to make it more painful.
Right.
Right.
To live in that pain moment. Almost.
Yeah, and bring it back to today. So if you have a hangnail, it's going to hurt you. But then if somebody punches you in the arm, you forget about the hangnail.
Yeah, right.
And so what I want to do is punch myself in the arm with regret, make it more painful so then I don't feel this thing. And so I don't think you can be fearless. I just give myself a greater fear. Right? Yeah. That thing is scary. Failing is scary, right? That asking her out or your business tanking or whatever, that's real. That's a fear.
Yeah.
And I just want to give myself a bigger fear to force me into action.
Rule number 9, surround yourself with success.
Creating the environment for yourself for success. So, if Best Book Bits inspires you, great. Look at the content every day. If this show inspires you, great. Follow Michael and look at the other stuff that he's doing. Most of us don't have enough people around us who are doing amazing things. Chances are the people listening to this show, you're the most ambitious person that you know. You're the most growth-oriented. You're the one pouring in other people. You're the one saying, this book I just read, you have to go read it. We're forcing our ideas on other people because we've learned so much. You've learned so much and you just want to share it with other people. But the people around you aren't as receptive, aren't as open, aren't as growth-minded as you are. And that's a great gift that you're giving them. But the challenge is you don't have people who are pushing you. And so I try to surround myself with the environment that pushes me forward in the content that I make, because I want to be around Oprah Winfrey and Elon Musk and super successful entrepreneurs because they pull me forward. And so the more that I'm around that, the more I want to believe in myself and go chase my dreams. So that's the first, like your environment, your habits, your routine. Are you around the people who are lifting you up, either in person, but more likely online or through books that inspire you as part of your daily routine, not just a one-off thing that you happen to do.
Rule number 10, the last one before our very special bonus clip, stop overthinking things.
When it's simple, you can go fast. When it's simple, when you have clarity, when you've got direction, it's so much easier to get stuff done, to actually make progress on your goals. But when you're stuck with overcomplicating, overthinking, over-strategizing, nothing happens. You felt this. You've had ideas. You've had goals. I have too. Dreams, goals, ambitions, desires. Like, here's what I want to do. And then what do? What's the next step? We make it so big. We start thinking of all the possibilities of where it could go and what could go wrong. And we start planning and overthinking and researching and more planning and more research and more. And then as a result, nothing happens. Nothing happens because we've now wasted days of just research, planning, thinking, and we've made it so big that we feel like we can't do it by ourselves anymore. Like now we can't get started because we need a team, we need money, we need investors, we need promotion, we need people to help us, we need all these things so we never actually make. Have you been there? I lost a $40 million deal when I was 20 because of that. Because of overthinking, over-planning, over-preparing, and not enough doing. And it's not that planning isn't important, it's just not the first step. The first step is to get really clear, really narrow, really specific to this is what I need to do, and then going off and doing it. Because you have time. We feel like we don't have time. Even if you have a job, you have family, you have time. The problem is the time that you're spending on your business is not intentional enough, is not simple enough, is not clear enough, and you spend your time going in circles, overthinking instead of actually doing. Does that sound familiar?
You go as far as you believe you can go. When the people around you say you're crazy, when you're putting in massive effort but you're not getting the results, where you sit alone and wonder, did you just make the biggest mistake of your life by starting this business? That is the time when most people quit, and you need to believe more. Because if you love this thing, if you know that it's going to impact people and you give up too soon, you will regret for the rest of your life knowing that you were capable of more and you just quit on it a little too early. So I look at my new book as an example. I did my tour across America, met with entrepreneurs all across America, and found that people were struggling with the same thing. They want to know, how do I find what my purpose is and turn it into a lucrative business? Every city that I went to, even though that was not the topic I was covering, it came up over and over and over and over again, 23 different cities. And so I thought, I'm gonna write a book on this. This is gonna be my next book. I'm gonna take people through the process because my process works and it helped people live in 10, 15 minutes, and they're getting new ideas and results. And here we go. Like they understand what path they need to take. Finally, they have clarity on what to do next. And so I told my agent and my lit agent, like, this is the next book I wanna write. We told publishers, this is the next book I'm gonna write. And from the start, it's been this big pull. It's been fighting. We don't like the title. We don't like the concept. No, we're not gonna publish it. No, we're not gonna publish it. And I wanna do it by January because I wanna do my next tour across the rest of the United States, East Coast, Texas, Mexico. I wanna do my next tour. So I wanna have my book in stores by that time. And it's been this rough slog, where if I didn't believe in myself that this was so important, with the people who are looking at it saying, nah, we don't like this concept. Nah, it's been written before. No, this method, we don't believe in. It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to say, forget it. I just know that it's gonna work. I know that the process helps people. I've seen it with my eyes across 23 cities over 90 days. I wrote the draft of the book and I gave it to some beta readers. And the number one piece of advice from people who've read both my books, the Year One Word and then this, like this is the better book. This is the best book you've written so far, including my self-published ones. And so what do? I've got these people who are my audience who love it, and then these people who aren't my audience but who make decisions saying, nah, we don't believe in it. I'm not gonna quit. I gotta keep going. I gotta do my tour. There better be some crazy good reason for me not to do my tour, right? Even if I have to self-publish it. Now, I'm pretty close to making my deal, making it all happen and getting timelines and all that, but we don't have a signed contract yet and anything can happen. We're pushing the timelines because I'm pushing the timelines, because otherwise this thing could drag on forever. When you have an idea that you love, that you know can have a huge impact, that's just taking longer than you hoped it would. When people are telling you that it's crazy and that it's stupid and that who are you to go off and do this thing? If you love it, you have to double down on it. You have to go in on it. You have to be open to getting help, but if that door closes, you try to find another one. And that's the story of every successful person. You're trying to do something different. As long as you love it, you have to keep going. You cannot quit. Maybe one day somebody does throw you a bunch of money and you can stop sleeping in your office. Or maybe it's just a slow grind up and it takes you 10 years to become an overnight success. You'll never know how long it will take you to be successful. But what you do know is that if you quit on something that you love, you will end up regretting it for the rest of your life. As long as you love it, you have to keep going. You can't quit. So look at my story. It wasn't easy being an entrepreneur growing up. That's why I do so much to help entrepreneurs, because I don't want you guys to struggle as much as I did. In my first real business when I was 19, I had to decide between earning $100,000 a year and traveling around the world in my dream job versus owning 30% of a company, making $300 a month, and being unsure if anything's gonna work out or not. And I decided that I had to keep going. I had to try, because I didn't want to end up being 85 years old, looking back and saying, I never did it. I never went for it. I would rather know and fail than not know. Because the things that you regret are rarely the things that you do. It's the things that you didn't do. The things that you had a chance to do. You had an opportunity, you thought about it, you felt it, but then you backed down because you were afraid. Those are the things that you regret. That's what you regret most, and I didn't want that to happen. But starting off my business wasn't easy. I struggled, I sucked. I made it harder on myself because I told my friends that I was living the entrepreneur life and I couldn't hang out with them. Meanwhile, that $20 was just too expensive for me to go out and have beer with them, right? I isolated myself and made myself lonely. I felt worthless as a human being. And the worst day of my life came when I told my business partner that I quit on him, that it was just too difficult, that I couldn't keep going, that I needed to feel like I was contributing, that my time meant something, that all this work I was putting into something, I just need to feel valuable again, that I was contributing to something. Because when you wake up every day and you're working and it's just not getting results, it can be real hard to keep going. And so I told him that I quit. I hung up the phone and then just started crying. And the next day I woke up and I just thought, I can't quit on this, not yet. I haven't given everything I've got. Because I felt like in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 20 years, I would look back and regret that I gave up. If I knew that I gave everything I had and it didn't work out, I was okay with the failure. It was just the idea of that thing lingering, that I could have given a little bit more, that I still liked this thing and I needed to see it through, and I didn't, that I quit on it. I knew that would eat me up forever. And so I had to get up that next day and tell myself, I'm not gonna quit yet. I just have to find a different way to stand. What I've tried so far has not worked. It has not worked. I'm making zero money. Well, $300 a month. But it's not working out. And I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate how I feel about myself. I have to find a different way to stand. And that energy allowed me to keep going. That energy allowed me to then ask myself, who else has done this before? And I looked at Bill Gates and how he started Microsoft, and that started the path up for my business. And then 2 years later, I sold my company. And it happened pretty quick. All because I refused to quit on the thing that I knew I needed to see through. People aren't afraid of failing. You're afraid of failing in front of other people. You'll sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. You'll record a video, but you'll never release it. You'll be your own biggest critic, but you won't at the same time also be your own biggest fan. That needs to change, starting today. So my biggest fear is disappointing people. I'm terrified of disappointing people. The idea that you would come to my Thought Leadership Academy and I would teach you how to win on social media and get the ideas out of your head and pay $2,000 to do it. The idea that you would come and be disappointed destroys me. And it's led to some positive things in that I always over-deliver. I'm always obsessed. I'm always putting so much value to that. Even if you only get 10% of the value I'm giving, you still more than made the money that you invested into any of the stuff that I'm doing. But at the same time, it's still this fear. And so I want to attack the fear. I teach myself to attack the fear. And I think you should too. Even just attacking it for the sake of attacking it is good. Even if it doesn't lead to a positive result for your business, it's good because you're building strength, because you're pushing your comfort zone, because you're getting better, because you're growing. That's worth something. That's a ton of value. Because if you can conquer your fear of doing this one thing, that translates to every area of your life. If you teach yourself to have more courage, that translates everywhere. So maybe you're afraid of, if you're on a cruise ship and they bring up couples and they do a game show, you're afraid of what might happen on that game. Do it. How does that make you a better entrepreneur? It makes you 1,000 times better as an entrepreneur. Because that's the same fear that you face in your business. That fear of going on that game show on the cruise ship, that fear of taking your phone and recording a video in public on the street. These fears that seem like nothing, they show up everywhere in your life. They show up everywhere in your business. And so learning to tackle them, especially in low stakes, starts building the muscle. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something, but instead of being world class at that thing, you settled for being just above average at something that you should not be doing. Albert Einstein once said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will believe its whole life that it is stupid. That's most people's problems. You are a fish, and you're trying to climb a tree instead of going and being great at swimming. This is the exact problem that I am on a mission to solve. So I recently had a young entrepreneur come to one of my Toronto Q&A meetups that are free that I host every week. And he said, Evan, I have a problem. I'm trying to decide between what my parents want me to be, which is an architect, and what I feel a yearning towards, which is being a musician. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to decide. I don't know how I'm going to be a success as a musician. I don't know how it's going to work out. And my parents want me to be an architect, and there's this clearly defined path for how to do it. And he's afraid. And I think that's so many people. There's this safe, perfect path that has been designed that people have done forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Or there's this new, crazy, messy, unrealistic, unsafe, unsure path, which is following your passion, being an entrepreneur, and trying to figure out where you're supposed to go. Here's the thing. If you only go down that safe path, if you only take that job, if you only listen to your parents or other people and you do what they want you to do, you're always going to be unhappy. You're always going to know that there was this thing inside you that you could have done, that you didn't take action on, and you hate it. It's never been easier to actually be yourself and build a business and have success being uniquely you, right? This was not open to your parents and definitely not your grandparents. The ability to be an entrepreneur on the side, making money using your phone is something that your grandparents don't understand. It's totally wild. And so you are a unique individual, right? You are, I am, we all are. You have unique interests, personality traits, belief systems. You're unique. You need to do something unique. If you are unique, you need to do something unique. If you're stuck doing the same thing that somebody else wants you to do, you're never going to be happy. Now, there may be some alignment. You may not absolutely hate the job that you're at, but you know you're capable of more. You're Michael Jordan. You are the Michael Jordan of something. You're a genius, an absolute bona fide genius at something. This is why I think it's the world's greatest problem. This is why I do what I do every single day in making this content and videos for you, because I want to unlock people, hopefully more than one at a time, but even if it's just one person who watches this video and gets unlocked, I'm pumped. Because I think if everybody is off doing the thing that they are a genius at, man, I want to live in that world. You haven't become a shark yet because you haven't decided that your mission is important enough. Now, being a shark doesn't mean that you have to become aggressive, violent, and angry. It means that you're pushing to be the best in your industry, a true leader, someone who makes a difference. And it starts with your mission. Raise the level of how important your mission feels to you and your entire life changes. So I look at my mission as an example. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. It's never going to happen. I'm trying to solve the biggest problem I think in the world, which is that lack of belief in yourself. The untapped potential. That's what I wake up every day trying to do. And the more that I put myself in a position of this thing matters, like what I do really, really, really matters. The more I can put myself in that mind frame, the bigger my thinking becomes, the bolder I get as a human and as an entrepreneur. And I look at the path that I've taken over the past X number of years. I look at being able to collaborate with someone like Eric Thomas when he gave a shout out in his video. That would have been something I wouldn't have thought of when I first started on YouTube. I look at the relationships I built with people like Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and the people that we profile. Tony Robbins, I took the people on my team to go see him at Unleash the Power Within. I brought 5, I think, of my people down, and we're sitting up in the cheap seats. And then a year later, he invited me as his personal guest to sit right down in the front row. Chairman invited seating. And I'm going back, I leave tomorrow. I don't know when this video goes up, but I leave tomorrow for Dallas to do it again. It's wild. Right? Like, it doesn't feel like that stuff is possible. It comes from shifting the value of your mission. I deserve it because what I'm doing is solving a real problem. And we often feel like we're not capable of doing these great things. And we downplay our role, and we downplay how important our mission is, and we downplay what we think we can do. That's what needs to shift. That's what needs to change. You need to feel like the work you do matters. You need to feel like the mission you're on means something. Can have a big impact. And if you're approaching life in that way, everything in your business changes. Your environment has been perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are. The people you hang with, the videos you watch, the media you consume, all of it are perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are right now today. If you want to raise your standards, it starts by raising your environment first. So a friend of mine and friend of the channel, Mark Drager from Fanta, gave me a really warm message yesterday, and he thanked me for helping start the process for him to turn from being a pessimist to an optimist, from being somebody who was always worried and negative to somebody who's having more energy, who's seeing the light, who's becoming more optimistic, who still has a road to go, but is so far further along than where he was before. And he wrote to me to say, thank you for starting me down this path. He said there was one conversation in particular that had special meaning to him, where I told him that I just really believed in him, that I saw a lot of the people around him, I saw a lot of his peers, and I just thought that he had so much more potential than where he was. And I think maybe for the first time he had an extra bolt of belief pushed into him, which is what I do, which is what I'm great at, which is what I enjoy doing. But fast forward to now, 6 months, 8 months later, he's made major gains in his life. He's brought on new team members. He's now consuming other content that is positive and optimistic. He's changing his business around. He's investing more in himself. He's happier. He's lost a lot of weight. He's growing. He's wanting to strengthen his relationships. He's just seen a big shift in his life by trying to move more into optimism instead of pessimism. And so it started with my conversation with him. He then promoted somebody within his organization to become COO, whose name was Louis, and he's also a massive force for good and positivity. He started consuming Gary's content, which is positivity. He started consuming Tom Bilyeu's content, which is positivity. He started now injecting all these people and resources into his life to make him feel more positive, more optimistic, more happy, give him more energy so that he has that to go take on his goals and the challenges out in front of him. And slowly move that needle from being a pessimist to an optimist. I don't think people are pessimists, to be honest. I think everybody is born an optimist. I don't think people are born negative. I think that's trained into you. I think you're a pessimist and negative because of the circumstances you had and what was planted in your brain by the people around you. I think people are good. I think humans are just good. I think if we weren't good, we wouldn't be here anymore. 99.99999% of people are good. Right? Some people have a little bit of a miswiring up there and it causes them to enjoy killing people. But for the most part, we're good. I also believe that people are built to serve. I believe that you get happiness from helping others, by being of service to others. That's what actually makes you happy. There aren't very many happy moments in your life that didn't involve somebody else. You were helping, you were serving. They've shown the effect on your brain of serving and helping somebody is the same as food and sex. We're literally hardwired to help others and to serve. And so if you believe like I believe that humans are good and humans are built to serve, then what would cause somebody to be pessimistic and negative? How sad of an upbringing does that person have to have had? The programming that was installed inside them by other people who just were negative and down on their life, but weren't inherently bad people. The people who stole from my car in LA, the guy who cut me off in traffic yesterday, I don't think they're bad people. I still think they're good people who are built to serve. Just circumstances and conditioning have led them down a negative path. And so the good news is you can get out of it, just like my friend Mark has, who's someone who was sworn to say, I'm a pessimist, right? I just default to negativity, to now seeing the shift by changing the people he's surrounding himself with, by altering his environment, by consuming content that is more positive. He's already seen a noticeable shift over the past X number of months, and that's going to continue to grow. That could be you too. Most people quit on things because they don't have a powerful mission or they don't know where their drive comes from. Chasing an opportunity isn't enough because you're going up against people who love that thing, who might be willing to die for that thing. If you want to go to Mars, you're competing against Elon Musk, who would die to go to Mars. You better absolutely love it or he's going to crush you. You need to find the thing that you love that does not feel like work. Otherwise, you'll end up working your entire life and hating it. So every Thursday when I'm in Toronto, I do this free event for Toronto entrepreneurs at my dance studio, Toronto Dance Salsa, 5 to 6 p.m. Thursdays when I'm in the city. I do a free event, Q&A session for an hour. Come out, meet me, talk, let's hang out, however I can help, give back to the community and help local entrepreneurs. My Thursdays are bonkers. My Thursdays are all day long interviews, hangouts, podcasts, Skype sessions, one-on-ones. My assistant books them in 25-minute chunks, and I have 25 minutes on, 5-minute break in between. Usually I use that break to get set up for the next one. 25 minutes, 5, 25, 5, 25, 5, the whole day long. And then I end up going to the studio, I record my podcast with Mark Drager. I then do 2 30-minute one-on-ones that we film for the YouTube channel. And then after all of that, I do a 1-hour Q&A for the entrepreneur community. And then after that, I'm doing more meetings with my team. It's crazy. And somebody asked me last Thursday, how do you have the energy for all of that stuff? I love it. Like, I love being there with the people. That group session is the best for me. I love it. I'm not getting paid for it. It's free. It's probably not a great use of my time. If I had to pick for 1 hour, what's the best use of my time? Hang out with startup entrepreneurs, ask me their questions, or do something like write my book or make my next course or something else. It probably doesn't make the most sense, but I love it. And so therefore it makes the most sense, right? And for other people, jumping into my schedule might be torture, and it should be. For me to jump into your schedule should be torture. I should look at your calendar and say, that's ridiculous. How do you have so much energy for all that stuff? And when you jump into mine, it should look the exact same. For me, when I gear up for Thursday, as an example, when I put my extrovert hat on, I gain energy as the day goes on. I'm not losing energy. By the time I hit 5 o'clock and I'm doing the group session with people, I'm carrying the energy of all the entrepreneurs that I've met on my 25-minute one-on-ones throughout the entire day. I love it. I gain more steam, but most things, ask me to do almost anything else for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, I would hate my life. Ask me to make coffee for 10 hours a day, I would hate my life. Ask me to play piano, ask me to do almost anything for that amount of time, I would hate my life because it feels like work. And so you have to find the thing that does not feel like work. So then when you go off and do it, it actually gives you energy. So paying attention to the energy, if at the end of every day you're like, oh, this sucks. Like, that's a good signal that you're doing the wrong thing, because you have Michael Jordan level talent at something. You are a genius. You should be crushing it at something. And if the work that you're doing is draining your energy, if the people around you are draining your energy, chances are you're in the wrong spot. You're hanging with the wrong people. You're doing the wrong kind of work. Everything in your life changes when you learn to tie your self-worth to your effort instead of the results. Most people tie their self-worth to the results, to winning. You only feel good about yourself when you win. If that's how you think, then you're screwed. Because that person only takes on projects that you know you have a pretty high chance of winning at. And therefore, you play small for life. The key is to tie your self-worth to the effort, to trying. And if you do that well, you'll win beyond your wildest imaginations. So let's use me as an example. Look at this video right here, this video. 2 minutes before getting on and making this video, I'm nervous. I'm scared. I don't want to do it. I'm trying to find a reason why I don't have to do this video. Now why? I've done 6,000 of these videos. Do I not love it anymore? No, that's not it. I love doing it. So why am I afraid? Who cares? I've done 6,000. The answer is because I don't want to make it the same way that I've done the past 6,000. I want to push harder. I want to push and do something new. If I was just doing what I've already done, then it'd be easy. Right? If you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes easy, but then you get bored. You start to hate your life. You start realizing that everything is just a photocopy over and over and over and over and over again. And so, how do I push through? I put this pressure on myself to say, this video right now has to be the best video that I've ever made. That's my intention going in to every time I'm filming. Most days I don't accomplish it. When you're trying something new and scary and bigger and bolder, most of the time you won't get it. You fail a lot. But I tie my self-worth, my respect, to the effort. I'm trying. And every now and then, you'll make a bit of a breakthrough. You get a bit of a win. And then those accumulate. And then you get another one, and another win, and another win. And so the answer isn't have a big goal and then find a reason why you can't do it. The answer isn't dream big and then convince yourself of some logical excuse for why you're not going to take action. The answer is to push through. The answer is you're scared and you're going to do it anyway. The answer for me is I'm going to make another video. I'm going to try and push myself harder. And I think that's what achievers do, because achievers are failing more than you. Because most days I get up and fail. Most days I'm just failing. It's another failure, another failure, another failure. But the more you fail, the more you're eventually going to win. I'm going to get massive results. Because you tie your self-worth to your ability to get up and try again, and try again, and try again, and pat yourself on the back for the effort you're putting in, not just when you're winning. Self-esteem comes from doing difficult things. You set a goal, you said you'd start doing something, and maybe even you do actually start doing that thing. But then you hit a roadblock. Then it gets difficult, it gets hard, and what you do in that moment will define the rest of your life. When it's hard, when it's difficult, do you rise to the occasion? Or do you let yourself off again, finding some really logical reason why you can't do that thing? It doesn't count until it's hard. You don't grow until it's hard. You don't build self-respect, self-esteem, self-confidence until it's hard and you follow through. I keep these in my office as a reminder of who I am in my best moments, my best self, to push me to do more and to push harder. What are these? If you're new to my channel, welcome, I'm Evan. I went on a tour at the beginning of this year. I did a tour, 23 cities, 90 days, and 2/3 of the way through, with a month left, I broke my neck. When I was in Denver, I fainted, I fell out of a chair, I hit my head against a wall, cracked the back of my head open, I had 3 staples on my head, I had a concussion, and I broke my neck in 2 spots. And after that night, I had to wear this. I had to wear this for the next, I just noticed this note here. Nina signed it. I love you, get well soon, Nina. She signed it. That's sweet. Aw, gotta go thank her. Anyway, had a little emotional moment there. I broke my neck and I decided to keep going on my tour. I had a month left. Everybody was telling me to go home. My agent told me to go home. My friends, my family said, come home, get the healthcare you need, relax, stay in bed, rest, you need to recover. And I said, being with entrepreneurs is my recovery. And pushing through and doing this tour is my healing. One, physical healing, because just sitting on the bed all day is not gonna be, for someone like me, something that's amazing. But 2, just pushing through and knowing that I can, right? It doesn't count until it's hard. It doesn't count until it's difficult, and then you get up and you do it. And so if you've seen any of the videos or pictures of me at the events, I went from standing up and moving around and having energy to then I had to sit at the front of a room with pillows behind me and an ice pack on my shoulder blade for 3.5, 4 hours in massive pain the whole time, answering questions and doing my workshop. And I was so proud of myself for doing it. That's how I built my self-esteem, by getting up and doing it, by showing up. And it inspired the people who came out. They're saying, well, I lived 25 minutes away, didn't know if I wanted to make the drive, I commit to it, I was kind of tired. And then I saw you with your broken neck still showing up, so I had to show up too, right? But that's not why I did it. I did it for me, I did it for myself. I had to wear this all day, all night long. This was my first one, and then it started to break, so Nina put some duct tape on it here. And then this was my second one that once it started to really wind down, I couldn't wear it anymore. I went for this one. And 10 minutes a day is all I could do to take it off for a shower. So I had to sleep in this. I had to do my workshop in this, everything. 23 hours and 50 minutes a day, except for a 10-minute break in the shower where I took it off and was paranoid about moving anything because my neck was broken. I had to keep it stabilized. I wore these. This reminds me of how strong I am. As time has gone on, I've become less and less a fan of goal setting. And I love the idea of quarterly goals over annual goals, over decade-long goals, because the timeline is shorter. And why I'm less a fan of goal setting is because the more you're actually growing, the less likely you're actually able to predict where you're gonna be. So I really hate 10-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. If you think about where you were 5 years ago, think about who you were 5 years ago. 5 years ago, look at the calendar, 5 years ago from today, in the past, who are you? You think that person could predict where you would be?
10 years ago, I just started my YouTube channel. I had a couple videos up. 10 years ago, I said I'd never want to write a book. 10 years ago, I wouldn't imagine that I'd be here. I'd be here and making videos for a YouTube channel with 300 million views in Puerto Rico because Brendan Burchard invited me to his mastermind group to speak on stage in front of all these successful entrepreneurs. I wouldn't have predicted that, like with zero accuracy. And same thing for you. 10 years ago, you had no idea that you'd be here. Not if you're growing. And this is the big caveat. Not if you're growing. Like, if you can predict with accuracy where you're going to be in 10 years, you can hit it, but it's just way small compared to what you could have done, and it means that you haven't grown in the past decade. And so that's my main beef against goals. And having shorter goals, having numeric goals can be great. Can be great. Like, I want to get 10 million subscribers on my main YouTube channel. That's a good goal. But if I set that as my 10-year goal and that's the only thing I'm going to do, then it's wrong, because probably in 3 years I should jump off and go do something else, right? I've been fortunate that I've been doing YouTube for 10 years and I still love it. It's still amazing. But chances are your 10-year plans, you should jump off in year 2 and go do something else, because that thing is actually better for you because you've grown as a person. So at least it's great, the advice that instead of annual goals, set it down to quarterly goals, because goals are still helpful. They're still good to kind of track your progress, to know that this video did better than that video, that this customer brought in more money than this customer, that are you doing enough actions to go and get the business that you want. Those are great. But as a macro thing that's leading your decisions, I think the longer you stretch it out, the worse it actually is.
Chasing down your dream is scary. Chances are nobody around you has done anything close to what you want to do, and they don't understand you. They think you're crazy. Well, you know what? Here's a news flash. You are crazy. And you need to embrace your crazy ideas right now, or you'll regret for the rest of your life that you never took action. So I'm a big believer that you need to trust your crazy ideas, that when an idea comes to you, you have to go off and do it. You have to teach yourself that you are a genius, therefore you come up with genius ideas, and you need to birth them into existence. Because it came to you, therefore it's good. At least that's what I tell myself. And here's a quick example. I started a new channel last week featuring IG lives of different entrepreneurs. One of the things that frustrated me was that people, your heroes, people that I love, that I look up to, that you look up to, are going live on Instagram every day, and the lives disappear in 24 hours. It's just a function of Instagram, is after 24 hours, the lives go away. Nobody can see them anymore. And I was frustrated for myself and for you, and that all of this great wisdom was being lost. But I was also frustrated for them, for the thought leaders, for the experts, for your heroes, that they're creating this amazing content to help people, and then it just goes away. And so I wanted to help protect their legacy, preserve their wisdom, and also have something for you guys to be able to go back to again and again and again, access to thought leaders and experts and heroes. And so I thought, what if I just started a channel with their IG lives? And I came up with the idea on a Friday, and then on Friday we launched. On Friday, I started with my own live, and we had a live of one other person, and I put them up, and we launched a channel, set up the email address, set up the banners, set up the channel art, set up the playlist, set up the rules, and then started training my team on how to do it. And so now we've got, I don't know how many videos, a bunch of videos that have been put up since we've launched a channel, and that needs to be the speed at which you start to move. That you get ideas and you don't sit on them. How many ideas have you had that you've been sitting on for weeks, for months, for years? When I travel and I meet different entrepreneurs, it saddens me so much to see so many people have had a dream for a decade plus and still haven't done anything with it. The biggest problem is you're just not acting on it. And so you have to protect your dream. You have to find a spot that makes you come alive, makes you believe that you can do it. But protecting your dream doesn't mean doing nothing on your dream, right? You have to act. Even when the people around you don't understand you, think you're crazy, because again, you are nuts. It's amazing, and you have to embrace your crazy ideas. If you want to change your life, change your outcomes, it starts with you changing your consistent morning routine. You have to figure out what the best morning routine looks like for you, and that can come from trying on different people's hats and their schedules, but you have to have something.
Everybody has something. Nobody just wakes up and then hopes that amazing things happen. Not people who are successful. A lot of people wake up like that though. A lot of people do wake up, most people wake up and hope something happens to them. Hopes they win the lottery, hopes they get the promotion, hopes some big customer calls them, right? We're just living in a land of, I hope something big happens to me, but I don't believe it's going to, as opposed to demanding excellence from yourself every day, and it begins with your morning routine. So how can you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is figure out what makes you soar. So I said this is the most important part of my morning routine. What makes you come alive and soar? What makes you feel like the work that you do matters and you have to show up today? So for me, I have to think of a message every day. I think about you guys every day. I wake up, I'm here in my Toronto condo. It's hard to imagine that 300 million people have seen my videos. That number doesn't make any sense, right? And so it's easy just to wake up and just continue to live my life, me, my dogs, my wife, and my condo, and just another okay day, right? I have to remind myself that the work that I do matters. I think of a message and then I share it, and I take out my phone and I post something to Instagram typically, right? And that sets me up. That reminds me that what I do matters, is meaningful. I need to demand excellence from myself. What is it for you? Maybe it's creating a piece of content. Maybe it's making a video. Maybe it's watching a video. Maybe this is part of your morning routine, thank you, and it helps you soar, right? Maybe it's doing a good deed. Maybe it's meditation or prayer or walking the dog or playing in the sun, like whatever it is. What makes you come alive? You have felt it before. You have felt it before. You've had moments in your life where you were bold, confident, unstoppable, powerful, where you felt like you could take on the world, right? Where you felt like your crazy ideas were possible. You felt that before. I know you have. The problem is it's not consistent. You're not consistently feeling that way. And so you need to reverse engineer yourself. Before you worry about taking on other people's routines and ideas, which are definitely helpful, reverse engineer yourself to figure out, when in your life did you feel the most bold, confident, powerful, alive, and what led to that happening? What led to that happening? And then put that into your morning routine. Demand it from yourself every day, right? So it could be reading, it could be watching video, all the things I talked about. It doesn't matter. You felt it before. Reverse engineer what that thing was and then put it into your morning routine, because if you woke up and you did the thing that made you soar, that made you feel bold, unstoppable, powerful, confident every single day, holy cow, get ready for a massive change in what your life looks like over the next year. Step number 2 is ask the high performance coach question. So again, I'm going through all of this stuff with Brendan. I'm going through all this, and my favorite question was the one I read. If I was a high performance coach, this is what you should ask every day. I like this. If I was a high performance coach looking at my life from a high level, I would tell myself to remember that. Because it's so easy, why I love this is it's so easy to look at other people's lives and say what needs to be fixed, right? You can look at your spouse, your friends, your team, your parents, your siblings, your high school mates, whatever. You can look at other people and say, that needs to be fixed. You got to go off and do this, right? You become the high performance coach for other people. And what I love about this is that you're looking at your own life today as a high performance coach. What would you tell yourself? And then they have one at the end of the day. If I was my own high performance coach, I would tell myself this statement about today. So of all the things on here, it's a great format. I like that the best. And so I would challenge you for the next 30 days to ask yourself that simple question. If you were a high performance coach looking at your life from a high level, you would tell yourself to remember that what? And then step number 3 would be, which 3 people can you model their routine? So Brendan, he's got his, and I'm modeling this for at least 30 days. I've added, John Assaraf, a friend of the channel, been on a couple times, talks about writing down your goals every day and then touching them, right? So I'll write down some goals and then I write them every day now and I'm touching them, right? That's what he does. Great. Again, you got to see what's going to work for you. Maybe I do that for 30 days and stop. Maybe it's what I do for the rest of my life. I don't know. You won't know until you do it consistently enough. So pick 3 people who you like. Pick 3 people who you respect, who you look up to. Say, this is the kind of person that I want to learn from. And then go investigate how they start their day. And then try on some of it, right? You might love The Rock and he works out for 4 hours a day. You may not be able to do that, but you could work out for an hour a day, right? Because maybe you're doing nothing every day. So it's a good starting point. Like, just get to the gym and start working out every day, right? So pick 3 people who you love, look up to, respect, admire, and then go research What are their morning routines, and how can you apply one thing from each of them to see if it works for you? Most people either have no idea who they are and what they want, or they do, but they don't have the courage and confidence to chase it down. If you don't know who you are and what you want, then that needs to be your immediate priority. That's the single most important exercise that you can do right now. If you know what you want, but you're not chasing after it, having more confidence in who you are will give you the courage to chase it down. Either way, I'm gonna give you the answers in this video. So when I first started making videos, I sucked. You can go back, you can watch the first one. It was April 2009, over 10 years ago. I sucked, I was nervous, I was shy, I was trying to memorize lines, I was sitting down, I was in a suit, I was sweating. I sucked, it was brutal. And making videos isn't a logical choice for someone like me. I was introverted, I still am. I was afraid of being in front of the camera. I'm looking into the lens and the red light went on and I went blank. I was trying to memorize my lines just on paper. If you saw me and you said what I was good at and then put me in a situation where I'm making videos, said, don't do that, that's not for you. Here's the thing, I liked it. I wasn't good at it, but I liked it. And when you like something, with enough effort, enough practice, most things, you can be great at it. Now I'm still on my journey. I still have a long way to go. There's still people I look up to, guys like Gary, who are crushing it and say, I still have my journey to get better on, but I'm a lot better than I was when I started. And now I'm off doing keynote speeches and I'm getting flown out and getting paid to speak in front of audiences. And I'm growing a channel with 2 million subscribers and then these sub channels on top of them. It's crazy because I was doing a thing that on paper, I wasn't supposed to be good at, but I just loved it. And that's where the self-awareness piece comes in. Because you will get an idea to go off and try something, but you'll judge the idea and you'll say, I can't do this because I don't have X and Y and Z and I'm not good enough and tall enough and smart enough or whatever enough, right? I'm not enough. And then you play small for life and you have uncertainty and you're walking on quicksand and you end up being pulled into making somebody else's dreams come true instead of you actually chasing your own version of your life down. Because you're thinking about all the reasons why you're not gonna win instead of the 8 why you will. So take it from me, a guy who's introverted, afraid of the camera, shy, doesn't like talking to people. If I can get here, so can you on your dreams. Why do you get depressed after you accomplish a goal? You celebrate a goal for 5 minutes and then you're sad. Why is that? It's because you had the wrong goal. Your goal should not be to climb to the top of the mountain because the only spot left is to go down. Your goal should be to climb forever. You never stop climbing. You're on a mission. You're trying to save the world. Stop asking, when can I stop? You don't. You don't want to. You want to climb forever. You don't want to stop. Not now, not ever, because you are on a mission. So one of my biggest fears is the aging rock star. I look at some of these rock stars who made it big when they're in their 20s or 30s, and then as they get into their 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s, they're still playing, which is great. They're still on tour, which is awesome. But what are the songs that they're singing? The songs that they're singing are still the ones that they came up with when they're in their 20s or 30s. And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine coming up with a video in my 20s. Was I on YouTube in my 20s? I was, 10 years ago, right? April 2009, I was on 9? Wow, I'm getting old. April 2009, yes. April 2009, so I was 29 when my first video went up. Great. If I'm still showing that video all the time, if I'm still showing my 40th video, then that's the one that hit, I just feel like it's such a letdown. I mean, it's great that you're still on tour. It's great that you're still being asked to get on stage, but to sing the same songs over and over and over again, for me, I'm not trying to judge or say that they suck. For me, I'm terrified of that. I don't want that to be me. I don't want to think of the video that I made last year is my best video ever, and all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life is just play that same video over and over and over and over again. I want to climb forever. I want to challenge myself to come up with new stories each time, whenever possible, making these kind of videos. I want to always push the envelope. I want to always discover new formats. I want to always look at splitting up my channel or bringing them all back together or launching a course. Always something new. Always climbing. I don't see it as this mountaintop. There is no mountaintop. You're on the staircase and you're climbing forever and you're never going to get to the top. You don't want to get to the top. That's sadness. That's despair. When you've accomplished everything there is to accomplish, you hate your life. That sucks. You celebrate. This is what happens for high achievers, right? You celebrate for 5 minutes, like, man, we did it. And then it's a big letdown. When I crossed 2 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, 1 million subscribers, I didn't want to celebrate. Like, because the day-to-day is a celebration. Because this is celebration. This, making this video right here, this is my celebration moment. The process, the actual part of climbing, right? I'm trying to get better every single time. 6,000 videos later, still going. When do I stop? I don't. I want to make 6 million videos, right? My goal of hitting 1 billion entrepreneurs, I don't actually want to hit 1 billion entrepreneurs. I want to have a goal so big that I never do it. And so I don't want to be that aging rock star. I hope that when I'm 95 years old, I may, not have my mind totally there. My body might be giving up on me, but I'm hoping that I'm still trying to push the envelope, still trying to do more, do my best. And maybe if I get lazy, complacent, slow, if I start complaining, you catch me complaining when I'm 95 years old, show me this video back. Show me this video and say, look, you've become what you said you didn't want to become, right? Hold me accountable. I think as soon as you stop growing, you're dying. And I think that's why so many people are unhappy, because they've actually stopped growing a long time ago. And so don't be the aging rock star. I don't want it for me. I don't want it for you either. I feel like I'm always spending time with myself. I'm always talking to myself. I'm always reminding myself of how awesome I am, of the ideas that I have are great and I need to start acting on them. I'm very aware of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. And whenever it's not feeling right, I switch, and I'll switch on a dime. As soon as this YouTube channel stops feeling worth it, not fun anymore, wrong energy, I'm out, and I'll just leave it behind. I move on and go do something else. I think the same thing of meditation. I haven't been able to maintain and find value in a meditation practice, because I think there's two sides of meditation, and I only recently learned the difference. The first is about focus and presence. I'm always focused, I'm almost always focused in presence. I'm 85% in the moment focused, and 15% thinking about the future, and 0% thinking backwards. Somebody asked me that question: how much time do you spend past, present, future in your day-to-day? Like 0 about the past. That's why I have a poor memory. Mark Drager says I have a poor memory. I just don't live in the past. So I don't remember most things because they don't matter to me. They don't apply to me. I'm not thinking about, even when you ask me how old I am, I have to think about the year. Who cares? I was born in 1980, May 20th, 1980. How is that relevant? Because you want to compare your journey to mine, that I've come this far at 39 and you made it this far at 24 or 54 or whatever. I don't know. I just don't think that way. I think 0 going backwards. And then most of the time it's present and a little bit future, forward thinking. Whenever I'm feeling stuck, I'll spend more time with myself. If I feel like I need to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. It's just paying attention to feelings. Another conversation I get into with Mark constantly is, I don't remember what I said, but I remember how I felt. And that's mostly where I live, just in the lens of feelings and constantly talking to myself. You are staying small because you're afraid. You're afraid of the worst case scenario coming true, losing, having no money, and being embarrassed. But you know you're capable of more. You know the way that you're going about doing things right now is nothing compared to what you're capable of. Unless you lose that scarcity mindset, you're always gonna stay small, knowing that you are capable of more. Today, I'm gonna show you how. So one of the easiest ways to get out of your scarcity mindset is to go from idea to action. As soon as you get an idea, you do something about it. And sometimes often that idea is gonna be too big, too scary, too crazy. You can't do it. Who are you to do this? You don't have the money, resources, time, connections, energy, right? All of that, all of the excuses that come into your head. I like to teach myself that as soon as I get an idea, I go do something. It may not work, but you have genius ideas, trust them, go do something. The fact that you look at your calendar today, tomorrow, next week, and nothing excites you, okay, great. What can you shift? And it may require a wholesale change. It may require you
doing some drastic thing, but more likely you could probably just do one small shift. Like just start building momentum. Just start doing one little thing every day to start to train yourself, to start to just push the ball a little bit forward. Because often we think we have to make some giant change, and the only answer is to move to Mexico. And then it never happens, because to move to Mexico takes you however many, months and budget and all this stuff. You get stuck in planning mode instead of doing. What's a small step? What's a small tweak that you can make to today's calendar to inject more energy into it? What's something that you're gonna love doing that will give you more energy, that then now you have energy for other things as well, right? Some kind of immediate momentum. Spend 5% of your time planning, strategizing, thinking, and 95% of your time doing, executing, tactics. I call it the 5-95 rule. 5% of your time thinking, planning, strategizing, and 95% of your time actually doing. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get held up, because we're dreamers. We want to change the world. We've got this big mission, this big vision. We've got all these amazing giant plans, and it's so much fun to sit and think and plan and watch videos and draft up what our perfect company, our perfect life, the perfect world's gonna look like. It's a ton of fun. Anytime you get entrepreneurs together and you start dreaming about the future, tell me about where you wanna go, what you wanna build. Those are really fun, easy exercises for us. We love staying there. The problem is none of that stuff actually happens until you do something, right? The perfect world you want to make, the perfect life you want to build, none of that happens until you actually start doing it. Think about working out as an example, right? You could research all the exercises, you could think about the beautiful life you're gonna have when you have your six-pack abs, but nothing counts until you actually start working out, until you start running and doing your push-ups and doing your sit-ups and your squats and all of that stuff. 5% of your time should be picking the plan, strategizing the plan, and 95% of the time actually doing. You don't want to be in the same spot a year from today, a month from today, heck, even a week from today. We don't want to stay stuck. You don't want to be in the same spot. You don't want to be having the same thoughts to say, I wish I could be further ahead. I should be doing something else. Like to have the frustration with yourself, your life, your lack of momentum. If you don't want to be stuck in the same spot 1 week, 1 month, 1 year from today, the difference is not going to be different strategies that you come up with. You're super smart. You're a smart person, and you're doing this for the right reasons. You've got heart. You want to serve. You want to make a difference. You want to feel like what you do matters. The only tweak you have to make is switching the time you're spending thinking and pondering and in fear and strategizing and moving it to just doing, to just executing, to doing one more. So that's the challenge for today. Look at your calendar for the rest of the today, for the rest of next week. 5-95. 5% of your time planning, thinking, strategizing, and 95% of your time doing.
The biggest problem is a lack of belief. My biggest problem, your biggest problem, the world's biggest problem is that we don't believe in ourselves enough. You could do great things. You could be the Michael Jordan of something. You are literally the greatest in the world at something. But if you don't actually believe that you are, then you won't be. And people with far less talent, far less resources, and far less heart than you will win because they just took action. So my biggest limitation is still a lack of belief. It's still the thing that holds me back. I believe in my ability to do what I've already done, but not to do the next thing. It's a constant battle and a constant reminder because you want to grow. I want to grow. I want to keep learning. I want to keep getting better. And so to get to that next breakthrough, I'm going to have to believe in myself to say I can do it. Just yesterday, I was on Instagram Live with Kevin O'Leary. Mr. Wonderful, Shark Tank, was a super fun interview. And the hour before it, I was just totally useless. I gave myself an hour before to prepare, to research, to think about what questions I wanted to ask, to think how I'm going to introduce him when he comes on. I don't have a connection to Kevin O'Leary before yesterday. I had the good fortune to meet tons of people and connect with them, but Kevin, I haven't done anything with over the how many years I've had my YouTube channel. It's crazy, so I'm nervous. And in the back of my head is
he's a professional. It's going to be great. He's not somebody who's like yells at his interviewers. It's going to be fine. But in my heart, I'm still nervous. I'm still worried. I'm still anxious that I'm going to say the wrong thing, ask the wrong question, not give a great interview, and it's over in 7 minutes. It's my panic attack taking over. And so that hour before the interview, I was completely useless. I kind of went over at least 10 times how I was going to introduce him and some of my key questions that I was going to ask him. And then I just basically wasted time. I wasn't in the right mindset to be able to go and do anything else. I couldn't even do Instagram DMs or emails because I was too distracted thinking about this thing that was coming up. But what's the alternative? Whenever you face those doubts, whenever you face those fears, the alternative is saying no. The alternative is, I can't do it. I'm busy. Find some excuse, right? Evan of 10 years ago probably would have backed out of it, would have found some reason why I couldn't have done it. I'm busy, find some reason. I want to teach myself that I do scary things, that I do difficult things, that I lean into the thing. If I don't believe in myself enough, then I have to go do the thing to show myself that I believe in myself. You can say all day long, I believe in myself, I believe in myself, I believe in, but if you don't do the thing, you won't believe in yourself. And so you do it scared. You do it when it's hard. You do it when it's difficult. Even if I go on the live and just say the wrong thing to Kevin and insult him, or he leaves, or something happens, the fact that I showed up with a positive intention, with the goal to try to make this a great interview, is enough for me to pat myself on the back and say I did it. Now, the interview ended up going great. At least I thought it went well. We had a good conversation. We talked about his new business. I made a new connection. He now follows me on Instagram. It was a fun time. And logically, you might be watching and thinking, well, of course it's going to work out. You've done all these interviews. And logically to myself, it's the same thing. Of course it's going to work out. I've done all these interviews and with harder people to talk to than Kevin O'Leary. But in the moment when it's your fear talking, the logic isn't enough to get you through it. At least for me, it's the boom, boom, boom test that my heart's beating. Boom, 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 boom. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I have to do it. That's how you start building confidence, belief, self-respect, by doing difficult things. Now, I've got a 3-step process I'm going to walk you through to help you get more self-belief. Number 1 is be surrounded by it. Be surrounded by the things that make you believe in yourself more. This is so critical because chances are the people around you aren't encouraging you to be more, aren't pushing you, saying you're capable of so much more. A lot of people have either haters around them, people telling them that you're never going to make it, be safe, be practical, go get this safe job over here, you can't go do that. Or people who might have empathy, might have some kind of understanding, but they don't know how to push you to do greater things. And so you have to be surrounded by the people who make you feel like more is possible. This is so critical. It's so important. It's why I make this YouTube channel. I want you to start your day with confidence and belief. So if this channel does it for you, great. Hey, every day I'm making videos. If not on this channel, I've got lots of other channels also making content. But if it's not me, then it's somebody else. If it's Dean's channel or Dean's books or Dean's podcast that makes you feel bold, confident, alive, powerful, then be surrounded by it as much as possible. Have it as a part of your regular schedule. Have it in your environment. Look at my environment here. Look at the people on the wall behind me. I walk into here and these people make me believe in myself more. From Steve Jobs to A.P. Giannini to my parents, Howard Schultz, Kanye West, these people make me believe in myself more. From the cell phone background that I have, can I load it up? It says remember your intention. Remember your intention. Ah, you can see it. Hey, you can see it. It works. Remember your intention. It's a reminder for myself. My desktop background, the clothes that I wear, right? I feel like I'm Batman going to work. I feel like I'm a superhero going to work to try to change the world for the better every time I put this on. Now that might seem crazy to you. That might seem stupid, childish, ridiculous. Awesome. Go do you. But think about it, from your office environment to the screens on your phone and computer to what you wear, it impacts your psychology, it impacts your self-confidence. So you want to be around it as much as possible. Physical environment plus online environment, from the music you listen to, the podcast, the videos you're watching, to every day inject that belief into yourself. Step number 2 is fix your morning routine. Most people well, most people don't have a morning routine. So most of America doesn't have a morning routine. But if you're watching this video, you probably have some kind of morning routine. Most people wake up like an accident. You probably wake up and have a morning routine. And so your friends and family, people who look at you, they might even be in awe of your morning routine and say, how do you accomplish so much? And how you stick to that morning routine? You're the one that people are going to for advice on morning routines. But your morning routine is likely still broken. Do you know what the most important part of a morning routine is? It's not brushing your teeth. It's not, meditation. It's not even watching one of these espresso videos, as much as that breaks my heart. The thing that's most important in a morning routine is, do you get the feeling of belief, of unstoppable confidence, of boldness when you finish it? Too many people are just checking the boxes. Too many people are saying, well, okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna brush my teeth, I'm gonna read a book, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna great. Check, 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 check. Perfect. You checked all the boxes, you did it. But you don't feel bold. You don't have confidence. You don't feel the belief. Why? Well, one of two reasons. One, either your morning routine is broken and you actually have to inject something in. You have to actually watch that video or make that call or do that meditation or say that prayer or whatever the thing is. You have to add something into your morning routine to get the confidence. Or two, your morning routine actually is okay. You're just not doing it with intention. So remember my cell phone screen here, right? Remember your intention. Remember there we go. Remember your intention. This is a constant reminder for myself to remember my intention. Your morning routine, you might have all the right pieces to it. And maybe watching a video is the thing that gets you feeling fired up and ready to go and have that belief. But if you're watching a video while you're doing something else, if you're watching a video while you're brushing your teeth or while you're planning out your day or while you're making your lunch or something else, and you've only got half your brain on it and you're not actually too focused on it, then great, check. You watched the video. You could check it off your morning list, but you don't feel the feeling. And if you don't feel the feeling, if you don't feel bold, powerful, unstoppable, confident coming out of your morning routine, then you need to immediately fix your morning routine for tomorrow. It's one of the single greatest things that you can do, because if you woke up and did the thing that made you feel belief, confidence, boldness every day, if that's how you started your day, you actually felt that every day, your life is going to look dramatically different 1 year from today. I guarantee. Fix your morning routine. And step number 3 is pass the boom, boom, boom test. And the boom, boom, boom test is when your heart's beating. Boom, 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 boom. That's a sign to go. That's a sign to do. That's a sign of your beliefs in yourself being questioned. When I had Kevin O'Leary coming up on my show, boom, 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 right? Even having Dean on my show. I had Dean not too long ago on my show, and now I know Dean better. We've hung out in Puerto Rico. He's been on a couple times already. We spent some time together, so he's a closer friend than Kevin O'Leary, who I didn't know before. Now, the last time I had Dean on, it was to promote his book, but I couldn't bring him in for more than a couple seconds. Instagram, I'd bring him in and it would crash. And so I tried to bring him in and then it would crash again. And I tried like 4 or 5 times to try to bring him in, and he's sitting there live and it just keeps crashing. And I felt so terrible. It's like all my worst nightmares coming true, right? Like it didn't work out. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I'm letting him down. I'm letting my audience down live. It just felt terrible. And so in the back of my head is, oh my gosh, remember the last time I tried to have Dean on? The fiasco that happened. And so boom, 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 boom. I don't want it to happen again this time. But not letting the boom, 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 this is just your fear talking, right? This is just lack of belief talking. It's a lack of belief that it's going to go well this time. You can't let that hold you back from actually doing the thing. And quite often what happens is you feel the boom, 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 right? It's going like this, but then your brain will find some reason why you can't do it. Your brain will talk you down from doing the thing. It'll find a really logical, smart reason, because you won't believe a stupid reason. A really smart reason why you can't do the thing. And so you don't, but really you're just afraid. And so this helps you catch it. When you feel the boom, 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 it's going like this, your heart's beating, I'm scared, I'm doing that thing. I'm doing that thing, and I'm gonna reward myself for the effort, whether it ends up working out or not, because I do scary things, and so do you. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. you are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to watch Top 10 Rules of John Assaraf, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
If you take this Rubik's Cube and you try to solve it on your own, there are literally tens of thousands of different moves that you can make to try and solve it.